First, I want to say Happy Veterans Day. And I'm going to tell you guys a story today. It's a really hard story. I might cry. So, if I cry, I'm sorry. If you cry, I'm sorry. Here goes. Today is Veterans Day. My veteran was my grandpa, Stanley Wayne Stroshine. Amazing man. Stayed married to my grandma for 50-something years. Love them both to death. Okay, Grandpa's gone. Grandpa's been gone for about 7 years now. And that's a long time to be without Grandpa. I'm shaken. I'm sorry. The story I want to tell you today is what my veteran did for me. My veteran, my grandpa, took me and my little sister in when we were, I think, like 3 and 4. 2 and 3. 3 and 4. Right, and around in there. My sister and I are 10.5 months apart. Right now we are both 29. Every time the decade has come around and I move to the next one and leave her in that last year alone, it seems like I lose a little bit of her every time. And I'm afraid this year I might actually lose my sister. My sister, as far as I know, lives in a hole. I know that's weird. But it's true. I have heard she's living in a hole that's under a tree out by the river back home. And if anyone from back home sees this and you're out there, can you do me a favor? And if you see her, don't give her any money, but see if she needs some food or maybe a jacket. Because I hear she's about 60, 70 pounds now. And if any of you guys, for those of you who don't know, I'm 5'3". My sister is 5'9". Okay, I am short. I usually weigh about 90 pounds. I'm finally gaining weight, and I'm up over 100 pounds now. I don't know the exact weight, or I totally would tell you guys. The last time I was weighed, I was 102.6 pounds. I'm not afraid to tell you how much I weigh. Okay, I used to, because everybody would just be like, oh, you need to eat something. Here's a cheeseburger. Okay, guys, that doesn't help. For anyone who has anyone in their life dealing with an eating disorder, whether they know it or not, I can finally see where people were coming from, but trust me, they don't see it. You are just hurting them. You're just making it worse. My grandpa took me and my sister in. My grandpa and my grandma. They raised us. When I turned 16, they adopted us. They gave us a really good life. But in all of that, there was still a lot of depression for me. Yes, I'm smoking a cigarette right now. This is very hard for me to do. This is the time of year that I am reminded just where I come from. My mom was 15 when I was born. She was 14 when she got pregnant with me. My mom was a strung out kid, and my dad was 22, also strung out, and to me that means that he's a pedophile. That's just how it is in my mind. This was over, 30 years ago. I don't know that it has any standing now, or if my mom would change it or anything like that. And I don't think that my mom would change it, just because she loves me and my sister and my brothers and stuff. And she had to go through a lot. My dad put her through a lot. He beat her, kind of sort of imprisoned her to a certain degree. She was stuck. My grandpa took me out of that. He took me out of that environment. We did go to foster homes for a little while. I couldn't tell you exactly, how long, but I can tell you that there were three foster homes, I remember, because I remember getting in the car the different times, and it was always the same lady, and she had short haircut, and me and my sister would usually sleep in the back seat. See, I've done brushed my hair, and it's still all messy, whatever. Anyway, my grandpa helped me through a lot. He taught me a lot, and he showed me how to be strong. Sometimes I am not strong. Sometimes, you guys, I'm anything but. Okay. I have 2 beautiful babies. And they are 1,300 miles from me. I am working to get back to them, to try to keep Bethany from feeling the way that I felt growing up. Now, don't get me wrong, I liked looking out and seeing Grandma at dance recitals, and I liked seeing Grandpa, at all the ceremonies that he could come to, and look, Grandpa was old, so there weren't too many things that I really expected him to be there for, but for the really big things, he was there. He was always there. I feel like if he was here right now, he would totally help me. He would totally understand. So, I've been working a lot. 3 jobs. Okay? None of them are full-time, except for my tarot stuff, because that I can do here at home. I am doing my very best. And I think Grandpa would be proud of me. I had my own struggle with drugs. Real bad. I went home and I told on myself because I scared myself. I looked in the mirror. And if you're struggling with addiction, and if you look in that mirror and you go, oh fuck, and you're scared, right? Go find someone. Go get someone's help. Don't lose yourself to something that doesn't love you. And you don't love it either. No matter what you think, no matter how much fun it is. When I look back on it, it wasn't that much fun. And I am so almost ashamed of the things that I've done. But I also understand that without the things that I've done, I wouldn't have had these experiences, and I would not have made me the person that I am today. I've learned a lot about the world that I did not know. That was another thing growing up with Grandma and Grandpa. We were pretty sheltered. They knew we'd already been through a lot, and we'd already seen a lot, and so they tried to make home very peaceful. And it was. It was a healthy place for me to be. Probably the healthiest place for me to be. As a family, we've dealt with a lot. I won't get into a whole bunch of details, but I will say that, when my Uncle Bert passed, I was still a kid, and that took its toll on my grandma and my grandpa, and I remember thinking, no parent should ever have to go through that. And then a few years ago, my sister lost her son. And I got the phone call. So I had to tell my sister, my brother-in-law, that their son was dead. And that he was not coming back. And he was gone. The day that I got the phone call about my grandpa and his passing, I almost fell to the floor. When Daniel died, all I could say was sweet little angel baby. From the moment I saw him, I called him my angel baby. I don't know why. But I just knew. The house that I grew up in is right next to the house where I was brought to after I was born. Call it the White House. Now, the White House is behind Grandma and Grandpa's house. We lived on a farm. So there's like this gully in between the two houses. Here's Grandma's house, gully. Over here is the White House. And shop area and stuff. Anyways, at 11 months old, I would walk myself from the White House to Grandma's house, usually barefoot, and my grandma would take care of me. She would feed me, she'd give me a bath, you know, and take care of me until one of them realized, I guess, that I wasn't there. And then they'd come find me. So my grandma's always been my protector. Her and Grandpa were definitely my protectors. I remember one time telling Grandpa that he was a savior. And to me, he was of sorts. Because, you know, who knows where it could have ended up or what could have happened. I think one of the things that I learned the best from my grandma is probably my coping skills. That sometimes things aren't okay. Sometimes it's okay to cry. Sometimes it's okay to be vulnerable, to put yourself in that position where you want to be just left alone. You want to cry, you want to purge, you want to feel all of those feelings you haven't been allowing yourself to feel. And it's so hard sometimes. I can only remember a handful of times, but I've seen my grandma cry. I've seen her put her head in her hands and cry. And I find myself doing that same thing. Wondering if I've made a mistake. Wondering if I've made the right choices. Now, I know I've made mistakes. Okay? A lot of them. I am definitely not perfect. I am so far from perfect. Okay? But my grandma always showed me what it was to help other people. And my grandpa always showed me what it was to work hard and to earn what you were working for. So, with that said, my veteran taught me how to be a person. My veteran gave up his retirement years to raise 2 more children. 2 girls at that. Okay? My grandpa was the sweetest person. I know he had to have seen a thing or two in his day. I know he bit the head off a rattlesnake one time because he's crazy. I know that he had a nubby finger. And it was just off at that first knuckle right there. And there was this little bump on the end of it. And I always thought it was a booger. It wasn't a booger, it was like bone or something. But it was gross, kind of. But I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the time that Grandpa came in the house super early in the morning, right when I'm getting up for school, and, you know, he's hollering and telling Grandma to hurry up and, you know, bring him Benadryl because he fell on this wasp nest when he was out irrigating super early in the morning. And it makes me think of the one time I've ever been stung by, like, anything. Was a wasp twice in the back of my leg, and I told my little brother to go inside and tell my grandma and grandpa that I had been stung by a yellow jacket, because I was like all the way up the driveway almost, and it was gonna take me a minute to get down there, because I was kind of freaking out. I didn't know if I was allergic or not, and so I go in there, and grandma's looking at my leg, and she's giving me the Benadryl and putting the Benadryl cream on my leg and stuff, and it's just the same way she did for Grandpa. I've learned how to be a mother from my grandma. Mom, that's not a jab at you. I love you. You know I love you. But Grandma taught me how to be a mother. She taught me what it means. The last few months I've been putting Bethany in my shoes as a child, thinking that, I'm the reason for all of her pain and all of her discomfort because I'm not there. I have a really good relationship with my daughter, way better than mine and my mom's. She's my Minnie. She's the little mama.